Today we're going over 10 of the best castle strategies in Rainbow Six Siege. Castle's a fantastic operator because he can achieve so much as one person. He's great for solo queue, great for a team environment, and if you want to just win, play more Castle. With these strategies, you can bust them out every once in a while and they will perform beautifully for you. Okay, so for the first strat, we have this bar castle setup. Now, personally, a big fan of this one. I haven't run it in a very long time, but it's simple, it's easy, it's quick to set up, and it's very, very effective. So you open up these kitchen walls, you open up the bar wall as well, and then you can contest the push in through the kitchen door, as well as anyone trying to buck or sledge out the back kitchen. A lot of teams will come and try to open this hatch as Hibana, maybe sledge out the floor, buck out the hallway, etc. So this is just a hard contestation of them trying to do that. By castling these 4 doorways, you are covered from basically every direction they can come from, and then you have a beeper at the top main stairs to know if anybody is up there. Primarily, if teams don't clear you out, they will just go for this kitchen area, which is when you can use these different angles, these different holes just to contest it. You can play passive and peek up after they start sledging. You can hide here and hold the hallway push for if they walk out. You can play it all the way from back behind the tables and use the table chairs as cover. You can shoot drones, keep moving around back and forth, and then when you feel like you need to, you can drop off down the hatch. The nice thing about having your beeper and freezer is you don't actually have to watch this area actively until you hear the beeper go off. So once you hear the beeper go off in freezer, you know they're in there, and that's when you can start holding this angle, to at which point they might swing into it and you might get a kill. Having that information, you can even go prone under here and spawn peek, so if they're coming out of spawn, or just shoot their angle so as they run past to go to the stock door. You can spray through the stock wall to kill anybody that might be coming in there, so if you hear them in stock, you can open that. You could even shotgun out the bottom, switch to your primary, peek the holes, maybe pick them off in there, or worst case scenario, you could even make a rotate hole in here and go into stock and drop down through the blue hatch if it's open. Now, I would probably recommend just reinforcing that, but the choice is yours. So that's the basics of the strat. That's if they actually push the way you want them to, and that's ideal for you if they do that default kitchen push. This castle on the pool table is actually another great spot to sit. You can hold the push through strip, so if anybody comes through strip early in the round, let's say they just are clearing through there, that's a nice off angle that you can get a cheeky little kill off of. And the same with this door as well, as you can see underneath it to watch anyone coming through lounge. So 3 of the 4 castles you can actually get kills underneath, while this one they would still have to come through strip to actually get it, but just provides you a safe way to cross back to the main stairs if they do come in through that strip side. So if they're coming through the strip side, you can again watch underneath those castles. You can hold angles from back here. You can actually rotate into the kitchen hall and hold angles like this because you have that information on your backside. Nobody's going to be killing you from here. You have to be a little careful of the window, but again, you can kind of play it from back here. So if they're fully coming from the west, then you're kind of safe to play in this area. And then if they're coming from the east, you can play on the opposite side of the bar. So you always want to be kind of using this bar for cover from different areas and using this kitchen hall rotate to get back and forth to confuse them, catch them off guard, and if they don't have a solid drone on you, you will get a lot of kills this way. And then once the pressure becomes too much, or let's say they clear from top down, they start sledging you out and bucking you out, because that's really the best way to clear this, is just open up above and play vertically. Then you can just drop back down to the site. You can even hide up here on the boxes to pick them off if they don't check it. So basically with most of these strats, the main thing is you're using these castles along with your proximities for intel. So with the castles and proximities combined, you have intel on 6 different areas. If they open any of those areas, you're gaining information without having to rely on cameras or your teammates. So these strategies are great for solo queuing because you don't have to rely on teammates for info, and at the same time you have this 1.5 sight and the shotgun to make long lines of sight with very structurally sound setups that require teamwork to actually clear out. If only one person tries to clear you out here, you can just pick that angle on that person and contest it however which way you choose. Which is the nice part about these strategies, is it requires teamwork to actually break down, making your defense much, much easier. The next bomb site we have is Armory on Border, and this is the default bomb site that most people go to, so it's a good one to have a castle strap for, that you can bust it out if you feel like. So the best part about this strategy is you can hold the entire east balcony and even some of the east hallway from up on this desk, and also the break push in. So anyone trying to enter from this side of the building is pretty much going to get clapped by your angles you have over here. You can also contest them from this rotate hole, these holes if there's nobody on the break balk. So there's a lot of different spots to contest those entrances. Now, if they're going for this armory wall, if you have this open, some people might just reinforce over it, but if you have this open, a teammate in armory can help you on that balcony, but also you can help your teammates in armory through these footholds. So if they do decide to push this balcony and say they get up to that reinforcement or they kill your teammate in sight, you can use these holes with the cross from armory to contest this balcony, make it very, very hard for attackers to play on there, and very dangerous in general. The nice part about this too is you can always drop down one of these hatches if you need to. Just drop the hatch, come back up metal. You have the information for metal, so if they're doing a metal rush, you'll hear the beeper, and then you have a cross from armory and from break onto this area as well. So anybody reacting to the information will have a crossfire with you, which is really, really nice. The biggest advantage in this strat is you know what the hell is going on and what looks at what and where is open, and the other team doesn't. What this does is it forces them to have to drone and actually gather all the information, relay that information to the team, and actually understand what's happening in order to take advantage of your setup. That in itself is a very, very, very difficult thing to manage. So by you just setting this up, the other team is already confused and already might not know what the optimal way to do it is. Yes, if you understand the setup, it's pretty easy to dismantle. You just open this window and kind of contest this area while your teammates push the other side. But if you don't understand the setup, you don't know what the counter is. And that's the biggest thing about this setup, is that they have to actually figure out what the fuck is going on before they can actually deal with it. A nice part about this too is if they are going for that office side push, you can open up angles like this into fountain. You can even open up that office wall if you want, or a teammate can impact it mid-round for you, and you can get all these different angles into there as well. I would actually probably push this castle up to this doorway, kind of mess that up, so we'll just tear that down and move it to this. That way you can push up the hallway without being exposed to east stairs and flank the people in office, right? So by doing this, you can push up here, play in this hallway without getting shot from the east stairs players. Now, you got to be careful when you're crossing, but once you're up here, you're having this pinch from the fountain defenders and from the hallway to contest anyone in this area. So it just contests everything and allows you to flow and adjust based on where they're pushing while adding that confusion, which is a very, very good thing to have. All right, next up we got Coastline. I want to try to keep it one strat a map because you don't want to be running too many castle strats in a game. I'd recommend really only busting one of these out per game. I mean, you're only getting one per map, so you can really only use one per game. But running the same castle strat over and over, the other team is going to actually understand what's going on and actually adapt to your castle setup. That being said, you can change them up a little bit depending on what your preferences are or how you know the other team attacks based on whatever rank you're in or whatever game you're in. So feel free to actually change these up as you go and kind of just play with them a little bit, adjust them a little bit. But again, you don't want to be running the same castle strat 3 rounds in a row. Okay, so there you have the kitchen setup. It's pretty basic. Now you can do some of the holes on site as well if you don't have another shotgun, so you can make like the site rotate, some floor holes for service, which actually I would probably just make these anyway, just so you can watch the push in from lobby as well. So the nice thing about the strat is it's a first floor strat, but it's very fluid throughout where you can travel across the first floor. This castle is just here for information. They're probably going to open it, but if they don't, you can really abuse that by being able to lurk around in lobby, play this side, play in lobby and hold the long angle. So if they don't open this castle, it's very, very useful. But if they do, you still have the proxy so that you know if they've entered into the castle, which is also very important. So a lot of people are just going to open this off the start, but for those of them that don't, it's really going to hinder their push. So this is a good castle, despite the fact that it is like, oh, somebody could just walk up and hit it. So the premise of the strat, basically, I actually forgot some holes, so let's add these in real quick. The premise of the strat, essentially, and what would be ideal for you, is that people are coming through the mud room on Sunrise. A lot of teams will push from this area, and this is a great way to support your players is actually playing in there behind the bar. So you can hold this angle to not only shoot them through the wall, but adjust for the door if they try to go through that. So they might Ash Zofia sledge this. If they go for a breach charge it, you should probably kill them. It might be tougher on console because it is longer range, but for my PC players out there, this is just going to net you kill after kill. Careful, if they do open this window, you will be exposed to it, so you can even back up further just to watch the doorway pushing from here, or even all the way back, like something like this, or even like contesting the window. So wherever they open, again, you're just playing off of and working around it. If they're coming office side for this castle, flip the strat around and use it against them. So you can come all the way to Sunrise and hold angles like this. You hold angles like this for if they actually push through office. And if they come for both, your best situation is just to fall off and go lobby side. Because if they're pushing from both sides, you're probably going to get pinched in here. So just coming back all the way through blue bar, giving it up. You know, they put in the work. They've worked together as a team to take both those areas. And then you can actually come back and kind of support from back here. But just give it up. If they're pushing both those ways, the chances of them actually coming lobby and owning this are pretty low. So you can actually use this angle here. And ideally you have footholds, which this should be your setup standard. If you're reinforcing these walls, stop, please make footholds here, because this allows you to watch the push in through here. Now you can play in courtyard, or you can do it from lobby where you watch the actual kitchen door push in for anyone coming through there. And this allows you to rotate between the two. See the footholds here, spray through for the kitchen window, flank even if you need to very late in the round. But that's the general setup. It's not the strongest setup there is with Castle, but it's a decent setup for Coastline. In general, you're starting over there, contesting over there. If they don't push over there, you can even do more. You can open up the blue bar wall if you want with your shotgun. You can come hold cool vibes by opening holes in here. So depending on where they're coming, you can make your way around and use a shotgun on the go as you see fit to hold different areas. If they're in courtyard, you can open up the courtyard wall, make lines of sight for kitchen, to hold the kitchen hop in from here, or you can just fall back to the site. There's so many options, and that's the nice part about these strats is there's always options with your castle strats, because the odds of the other team opening literally every single castle is very, very slim. If they do, your strat's pretty much countered, but in most situations, you're going to have at least one or two of those castles up still by the end of the round, and that's why you're playing off the other two that are being opened. Now we're going to go over to Canal. A lot of people hate this map. I personally am a massive fan. I think it's a ton of fun, and I don't get to play it very much, which I think is part of the reason why I actually like it, because if I was playing it every game, yeah, I'd probably hate it too. But that being said, there is a great castle strat on it for the basement bomb site, but you can also even use this for the Coast Guard bomb site if you do happen to go there. I think it's a really good strat, and honestly, Coast Guard is one of my favorite sites on this map, just because I can do this, and it's even better with a friend. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna head upstairs, because basically you're holding the bomb site from above. The nice part about this bomb site on Canal is that literally everywhere above the site is soft, so you can deny the plant from above, from anywhere above. Scrap that. Don't put it up there. It's I don't think it'll reach. This lets you watch the hop in through the window. And then for your other beeper, I would put it here on Skybridge, just so you have info if they're actually coming across Skybridge. I shot it earlier, but that's where it should go. That's where your next one should go. So here's the setup. It's pretty straightforward. You can reinforce this wall if you want, or you can open it. That one's pretty much up to you. But the moral of the story is you're going to play way back here and contest the push in from reception. Most people push in from here. So depending on what castle they break, you can hold the various angles on it. And then ideally you have a second person in gym as well. Maybe you open up this wall that can hold the push in from here too. This allows you to just rotate in and out through the hallway to peek different angles. You can hold main stairs from back here. So there's a lot of different options, and again, it's going to be confusing from where they can actually come from. You can hold this Skybridge hop in from underneath using these holes, which is really nice. And then if they come down the stairs here, you'll have that beeper, and you guys can both kind of fight back for this space. You can even hide on this vending machine if you hear the beeper go off. Again, you can deny everything from above, which is the best part. You can hold the scuba hop in. You can come over in gym, and you can make holes above the lockers hop in. So you can hold both these primary hop ins from up here. Now you could, if you really wanted, you could come up here and hold trench as well from above, but this one's a little more risky just because if they do open this castle, you're pretty much screwed. I'm pretty sure you can get an angle like this too, but it's not as, yeah, it's a little tight. If they don't clear you out, make as many holes above as you can and just hold different site entrances, different pushes in from the basement. If they do try to clear you out, rotate based off where they're not pushing from and use the holes against them, because they aren't gonna know where you're at if they don't drone everything thoroughly and properly. Now, your last option is you can reinforce these hatches. I would recommend reinforcing this one and opening the other one. That way you can get back to site safely if you need to without relying on having to go down the staircases, which they'll probably be watching already if they have like rushed the site and taken it, for example. It is easier if somebody like impacts to rotate and grabs the reinforcements for you, because again, the main thing is just setting up all those holes. And worst case scenario, you know, you don't even use the castles on this. Maybe you just pick someone with a shotgun, like a mute with a shotgun, or just anybody with a shotgun that can make these holes, because the castles aren't as impactful here as some of the other strategies. The only other thing I would mention is if you are doing this on the Coast Guard bomb site, I would flip your proximity from that hallway to the bottom scuba stairs so you know if they're coming up there, and then maybe put a castle on one of the sky bridge doors just so you have information on that, because you'll probably have someone playing in this area anyway to watch the front door, so you could probably just move this one over there, and maybe you even want to move this one to like top main or something. I don't know. All right, you big PP munchers, we are going to Cafe next for a top floor cigar piano with hold, and this one honestly is probably my favorite of this entire list, and it's very easy and not complex, and I like it. I like it a lot. So basically the entire premise of this strategy is you're going to sit in piano or in stage, and not only can you watch the hatch shot, but you can watch anyone trying to crouch walk up the red stairs. You have a beeper on white for if anyone comes up there, and then you have this castle slash beeper for if they drop from the new hatch. Now, you can also kind of hold this angle, but be careful. You don't want to be like caught up in the open looking like this, and then they peek from here because your beeper's way over here. So ideally, you're sitting on the stage. You can even go prone and like shotgun it out if you really want. The only thing I don't like about this is if you run out of ammo from shooting through this wall, you can't go prone to reload because you'll have these holes in your way. So it's kind of up to you if you want to do that. That's something you kind of pop out mid-round, mid-fight, whatever. But yeah, you're sitting up here, and then if you need to, you can drop this hatch to escape. Really, the counter to this is if they just get on these windows, on these rappels, and open them. But for that to work, they would have to watch their runouts as well to be safe. So you could even have like a second person get ready to run out on these guys, or you can prep this ticket window and hop out it if you need to. It's pretty easy to just ash this wall or hard breach this wall, but if they are hard breaching it, you can even shoot through the wall. So it's just annoying for them to actually drop into this area and win this gunfight. This is just a gunfight that's majorly in your favor, and yeah, it's a W. It's a W strat. One other thing I would do is open this wall as well, just so that if they completely ignore this drop and just go for skylight, you can still help your team on site. Now, you should have other people on site in this situation, so you have a crossfire on these people dropping the skylight, so they're just kind of getting shot from every angle, so that's nice too. If you want to take it up another notch, you can even open up this wall and reinforce this, so that way you can fall off to bathroom to play these angles later in the round. This castle here is going to prevent them from holding this rotate, so you can run back and forth and actually come through this door without a person on the rappel beaming your ass. So careful if they do open that. That could be what their intent is, and in that situation, I would just make sure you're definitely dropping the hatch, or else you might get killed, and that's L. Very simple strategy, but surprisingly, a lot of people will not get on these windows and actually counter it properly. A lot of people just open this and think that's enough and drop, and you'll still kill them. And you can just farm people here, especially if you have another guy in the shop or a guy playing under the skylight, like up aggressive in cigar. Then you just have these crossfires instantly from the get-go, and so many people just go these hatches. It's actually annoying. So yeah, it's a pretty decent strat, pretty easy. This, if you're to use a single one on the list, I would do this one because very easy, very simple, and very effective. We are now going to go over to Nighthaven Labs, the newest map in Rainbow Six, as of the time recording this video, at least. If you're watching this in 2 years, you're probably a psychopath. Castle probably doesn't even have castle barricades if you're watching this in 2 years. Here we are on the kitchen bomb site. I think this is a pretty decent site on Nighthaven Labs. The map is newer, so it's hard to tell what sites are actually the best right now. I think basement is a very, very solid site. But let's talk about this kitchen castle setup, or let's do it. So there's a strat. It does take a little longer to set up. There's quite a few holes. The floor holes are probably the most important just because you gotta be able to watch the sight push in. There is only the 2 doorways into sight as well as the kitchen window and the hatch drop, and you can contest 3 of the 4 entrances using this strategy. If you have extra players or extra time, you could even reinforce these walls as well, which would be nice. And you don't need to make these holes. I kind of forgot where the spot was, so it's in front of the couches underneath to watch the push into sight from above. So the biggest thing here is you can hold the doorways into sight from above. You can even make this angle if you want, just to hold it like in a little more safer fashion. And then if you haven't noticed, you have 1 extra castle in your pocket. So this is where the options start coming around. You can either put it on the kitchen window, or you can even use it deeper in server to do like a double castle over there. So I have to come through 2 different castles. You could do like the front door if you really want. But here's the thing. You have this window, which leads to the outer hatch. So you can contest door 1, door 2 from the holes above, and then you can spray through this window to kill people that are actually playing in this hatch. So if they're getting ready to drop this hatch, they've opened the hatch, you can just open the window and add pressure to them so they can't just stand outside there in the open safely. Now, you have a major gunfight. You have cover, they don't. You can use these chairs for your advantage. You can play it back from the hallway. You can make head holes on this wall. I forgot a reinforcement right here. You want to make sure you reinforce this as well. That way, if they are out there, you can safely play up here and use the reinforcement for cover to peek that balcony. Now, this castle is also very important. This is an outside door. If they open this door, you basically can't play in here anymore because they'll have the angle onto it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to fully abandon the strat. You can just play in this hallway. When the beeper actually goes off, you know they're there, you can pre-fire them, or once the beeper goes off, you can peek that rotate hole and kill them when they're in the middle of the open, they're exposed, and you know that they're there. So just play around the strat once again, and then use these holes to your advantage to deny push on the site. This one isn't super complex because the map is so new. It's very effective just because of the fact that people don't really know the best ways to attack yet, and people don't really know how to play the map very well yet. But I feel like once this map is a little bit more well understood and more solid, this strat will be a little weaker. Now, the only other way we didn't talk about is if they come from this lobby area. You have a beeper here to know if they're coming up the stairs, but you can also just contest this by playing above. You can flank this late by hopping over, killing anybody, killing the thermite who might be opening the wall here. And if you need to, you can even open holes above the wall from above, which is another option. If they don't clear you at all, say they just go for lobby, they just try to get the bomb down on that breach, you can even make holes above the breach to contest the hop in through there. As long as you kind of know which spots watch what, you should be good to go. And if you do need to get back to site, you can rotate through the outside hatch and save that extra castle to castle this off if you want. Next up on the list is Bank Basement. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of this site in ranked. There's just so many different areas the attackers can come through that make it very, very difficult to defend or actively watch everything, especially if you're solo queue. So here's a great castle strat to kind of negate that process and make it a little bit easier on yourself to actually win this bomb site. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna head straight upstairs. That is the key thing here. Not too complex. If you have an extra teammate to help out, reinforce these hatches because basically you're holding it from open area. The open area hold is the strat, and it's definitely easier with another teammate, but it doesn't mean it's impossible on your own. Basically what you'll be doing here is contesting the main entrance into open area, which is this window. You can shoot them as they hop in because you'll see their feet, they won't see you, they just have a wall, and you'll just kill them if they hop in that window. At least you should, unless they hop in, go prone and clap your cheeks. So in that case, you just suck, hit the game lapse. I don't know what to tell you. Making this rotate between the two allows you to actually get out and drop back to site if you need to. But the biggest thing about having this hatch open is it contests the direct push to site. So if they take just dirt and try to come through server, you can deny this plant from above. And if they're going for like an OSA plant here or something, you can even like shotgun out into archives and flank the server hatch to actually kill these guys. If they hard breach the wall and do that, you can, you know, come from the server hatch to get them. Somebody's probably watching the flank there, so not my go-to option, but it's an option. It's an option. The more options, the better. The nice part about this is if you do this little extension into tellers, which isn't necessary because it can be a little tougher to hold, but using this, you can actually flank these square guys as well without having to give away your position using that. So if you have the time advantage, you can do that. Or if they're pushing open, you can fall all the way back here and contest it from back here as well. Go up marble, go up main stairs, flank lobby, contest the lobby push in if they're coming through ATM. So you can even start over here depending on where you think they might push and rotate your way around. Again, the confusion of the castle setups is what's going to get the other team. And worst case scenario, they use a couple drones, you shoot a couple drones, you waste a lot of time, and you just drop back to the site. And they have the hatch that they were going to open already for them anyway, so it's not a big deal. And you have that time advantage to spend more time denying the plant or less time denying the plant so that it's harder for them to actually get that bomb down. And definitely if this strategy doesn't work the first time, I would probably not run it again, maybe switch it up. This is just like more of a pocket strat you might want to bust out once in a while. Try it out yourself. I don't know. Let me know how it goes. You try this out and you let me know, because I haven't run this one very often. I think I've only run it once or twice, and it was okay. It just really depends on the players that you're playing and the level of Rainbow Six that you're at. Next, we're moving over to Skyscraper for a barbecue kitchen defense. This is more of a tertiary site, like the third site you would probably go to on this map. But if you can win all 3 defenses on this map, it's absolutely huge. So learning this is definitely worth it, especially if you want to throw the other team off and pick an off site first. So let's go over it. Okay, so there's your setup. Again, it's a bit of a longer one. You have a lot of long angles to make, but these long angles just throw people off so hard, especially when they don't know what's going on. Reinforcing this is also, I would say recommended. It would be a good idea to reinforce that as well. And you can open this wall like this, but you can also reinforce it just so you're covered from that drum entrance if they do open up that castle. So biggest thing here is if they open up this, you should probably go play in karaoke, because if they open up this wall, there's nowhere for you to safely play in here, so it's not ideal. You can play from this side. You can open up these angles if you want as well, or you can just go all the way back to T and contest the hatch from up here in T, etc. So if they're pushing from south over, you play in T. If they're pushing from north or east over, you play in Geisha. So by playing in Geisha, you can contest all the walk-ins to T, the walk-ins through drum, and you have the vertical control on the bomb site. So you can hold the different doorways into the site, you can hold delivery, you can even make more holes in the floor over here to watch the other walk-in on this door, and you can also watch the bathroom hop in from these holes. The more the merrier with this. If you have more teammates, the easier it's going to be to hold this. And you can even reinforce these ones as well if you wanted. You can hold like the push from reception over here. You can come down these stairs and contest restaurant as well. So there's a lot of different areas you can contest from. It's just a matter of getting the info on where they're actually coming from based on what castles are opening, and using that information to adjust your positioning. Once again, holding long angles is going to be your best friend, and it's just going to be a very difficult strategy to actually drone out. This one will take a lot of time, so if you are planning on doing this yourself, definitely reinforce these walls first and then make your head holes afterwards. You can make your head holes on the go throughout the round if needed. It's very important to get the outer reinforcements and your castles down first, though. Hey, welcome to Chalet, guys. This is our Chalet kitchen dining strategy, which this is a top tier strategy. I think this is the best site on Chalet, hands down, especially in competitive. It could be a little harder in rank depending on what rank you're at, whether your teammates know the site or not. But if all 5 of your teammates know the site, this is the best site for sure. So let's go over it. So again, the setup takes a little longer. You have to also keep in mind with the setups is that once prep phase ends, they still have to make it out of spawn, get to the building before they can actually start shooting you. So you really have like an extra like 15 seconds to prep phase. You have about a minute to get through all this, and then you can kind of make the holes throughout the round as you go if needed. Like you can make the holes above sight, the holes above the windows, etc. You can make those as you go. But the big thing here is you can contest most of the ways that they come in through the building. So the bottom west main stairs, the west main window by the site. You can contest the dining hall door for if they open this castle. So late in the round, this is going to be your best friend. This is going to be how you deny the plant behind the table, which is the most common plant spot. So if they don't clear you out above, you have all the contestation for where they could plant. Even the kitchen area, you can open up behind the bomb, deny the plant behind there. And then you can open this hatch, but I'd recommend reinforcing it because it's going to be a lot easier just to rotate back through bathroom to get to solar. So the thing is here, if they're clearing out above, if they actually open up these master walls, which you can also reinforce, and they start taking this office area to sludge above the site or whatever, you can actually hold these angles from solar just to contest their pushes through. You can come hold the bathroom push, or sorry, the closet push. If they push above, you fall off, hold those long angles. If they don't push above, you use the holes to stop the plant or hold different entrances into site based on whatever your teammates need watched. So this contests all the west main stuff, depending which side they're going to. I mean, you could also just do something like this to watch the top of the stairs if needed. That way you can kind of switch back and forth easily. But then, worst case scenario, you drop back through solar, and you have this wall reinforced, and you can hold the long angles on the breach room here. Now, if they're coming solar side, you just flip to the opposite side. Wherever they're pushing from, you fall off, hold the long angles. That's just kind of a general note for pretty much every castle strategy, and it's the best way to play them because they don't know what's going on, and you do. There you go. And of course, for the last strategy on this list, we couldn't go to any other map than Oregon. So let's go over a basement Oregon roam using castle that is highly effective and honestly not really seen much anymore, but I still think it's a great strat. This is fantastic for solo queue. And again, it holds the majority of the map. It makes it very difficult for the attackers to do anything without actually clearing you out. You want to make sure you make these holes first because a lot of people like to reinforce these walls, but if they see that it's already open, the chances of them reinforce are a lot smaller. And then open the hatch right off the rip just so your teammates don't reinforce it, because typically they would. But you're going to be playing up there, so you want that open. The premise of this strat is very simple. You clearly bunker yourself into meeting and use the hatch to contest the bunker push-in. This is an area that most people just take all the time now. Most people just attack right from this room. So by doing this, if they actually decide to push in from here, you have a major advantage by seeing their feet first and just literally beaming them as they try to walk in from here. You also have the beeper to know if they are coming in, so that's when you can kind of like run over and check the hatch. But it's very, very difficult to push into this if their primary source of pushing is that. I would recommend reinforcing these two walls if you have the time, even the hatch if you have a friend who wants to go up and do it. Now, you can also kind of modify this strategy to go into kitchen, and then you can castle off the kitchen door and the security door instead of the second castles on both areas. And then you can open the freezer hatch as well to contest from there too. Because the thing is about this is returning back to the site is going to be pretty tough if they do have a guy outside bunker. Like, let's say they're clearing you, but you want to get back to site, but they have a guy just holding your hatch shop, then you're pretty much dead at that point. You want to stay, fight, play your life. But if you do want to extend out, you can even take this all the way up to the top floor, have a roamer up there, open the kids hatch. If you have a second person, having the second person roam and extending out like this with these barricaded off allows them to waste time on the top floor, maybe get a pick or two, and then drop the hatch, waste more time on the middle floor, and then eventually drop back to the bomb site. So this is literally a strat that two people can hold the majority of the map, at least the important parts of the map that you need for this site. If they do end up going for like a front push and they're not outside bunker, you can just drop back to the bomb site to help out. Either that, or you can come flying out of security. You can make a quick rotate into kitchen and then do a flank around dining and come down freezer stairs or come down the main lobby stairs for a flank. So different options for flank routes are those. And overall, this is just a pretty solid strat. I mean, you just try it out. Feel it out, play it out. The biggest thing about these strats, guys, is just adjusting based off where they're pushing and using the castles in the proximities for information to know how to adjust. That's as simple as Castle gets, but he's a really fun operator. If you want to try making up some of your own Castle strategies, just remember those little tips and you should be good to go. Castle, so good in ranked, super underrated character. If you want to be more annoying and be harder to actually deal with as an attacker, just play more Castle. Give the video a like. Bye.